Welcome back. On page AC25, it has you open Access up again. You can either click in the Start button and type Access in the search programs, or you can click, if you've moved the icon to your desktop or to your status bar, you can click on that. Now, for me, it opened up here, and in the book it talks as if, and in that case, you could click on the file that you had open last, Smith D. Bavant Publishing. Now, if you're recent in the lab, our lab doesn't maintain the recent. So, if yours did not show there, that's okay. All you have to do is go down to Open Other Files. And once again, here's a list of recents, but in the lab you won't see those. So you'll have to go to Open and choose Computer and then navigate to the drive that you used, that you saved your file in. So once again, since I'm at home, I still have my recent folders, so that's great. But if you're at the lab, you'll need to go through Browse and navigate to your thumb drive. That'll be over here. Alright? But if you're at home, life's great because it shows everything that you've done. And the recent thing is awesome, saves you so much time so you don't have to look for things. Now, on page 25, it also says if you have a security warning, and I know often when you open up an Access database, it'll have the yellow bar that says security warning, enable content. If yours is saying that, that's okay. Just click on the enable content button. It'll be somewhere like this, a little white button on the yellow bar. Alright, and if yours doesn't say that, then yay, life's great. Now, on page 26, it has you opening the book rep table. Now remember, you can right click and choose open, or you can double click, whatever works for you. I'm going to close the shutter bar because it gives you more time or more space. Then you want to add the records on figure 129. That is on page AC26. And remember to add the records. All you have to do is click in the first cell, and if you'll look on page 26 in the middle, figure 129, it has 2 records for you to add. So at this time, I want you to go ahead and pause your movie, type in the 2 records, number 65 and number 48, and when you're done, go ahead and start the movie back up. See you in a second. This is what your table will look like when you're done. And from there, you will open up your navigation pane. You will click on the book rep table, make sure it's selected, click on File, go to Print. And you have your choices of Quick Print, which means that you can just hit the Quick Print, it'll automatically go to your printer. Now, since I can't see what you print, you're not going to be able to mail me your stuff. I want you to print everything as a PDF, and when it comes time for that, I will show you how to do that. But for right now, number 2 says click on Print Preview. And you can see exactly what it looks like. And if you look down here, you have this button, and it lets you notice that you have 2 pages. Well, that looks pretty bad. So you're going to want to put that into a landscape. So we will go to landscape on page layout. That will turn it sideways, so now we can see everything. And then we want to go to the Print Preview tab right here, and we will check our margins. And notice you have your choice of custom, narrow, wide, or normal, and it automatically went to custom for me, so I'm going to choose narrow because that's what the I'm going to choose normal because that is what the book asked us to do. And I much prefer it centered. but it is what it is. Alright, so then from there we want to change it to a PDF to print. So when you hit print, it'll come up with this box here, and this should be what you have, your printer, your physical printer sitting at home. Now what I'll need you to do instead is to choose either Adobe PDF or Microsoft XPS Document Writer. One of those two will turn it into a file instead of a physical piece of paper. So I'm going to print to Adobe PDF, and then I'll say OK. Notice that for me it says that it's printing, and see this flashing thing here? That is telling me that I need to save it. So you'll need to click on that, and then you want to save it into your work folder for this class. Alright, and we're saving this as save as your last name first. You have to click in there. Underscore page 31 without the period. Alright, and then hit save. And that way when you turn everything in, it's really easy to find. And then it pops up showing you what you've done and shows you the file name, and everything is awesome, and we say yay. Alrighty then. Now we want to close that view, so we're going to click on close to close that view, and notice that we're back at our normal view with our book rep table showing right there. Now on page 33 we're going to learn how to import an Excel worksheet. So we first are going to click on external data, and then we are going to look, notice we're in the book number 2, Excel button, external data tab, so that's where we are. Import and link group, so here's import and link. Notice that it's import because we're bringing stuff from Excel to here. Alright, export means we're sending it from here out. Alright, so we are on import and link. Then we are going to click on Excel, and here it says specify the source of the definition of the objects. So we are going to browse to our chapter 1 location with all of our files. So I have a lot of stuff in here. So what we are looking for right now is customer data, and notice that it is only showing our Excel stuff out of our chapter 1 folder, and that's because this right here says Microsoft Excel. So double click on customer data, and notice right here it tells you exactly what you're asking for, and then it says page 34 with the option button to import the data. So import the data is what is selected. We're going to click on OK. Now right here it automatically assumes that the first row has our column headings, and in this case it definitely does. So if you ever create a spreadsheet that does not have the column headings in the first row, then you'll need to deselect that. But in this case this is exactly what we want. So we click on next. And then it lets you specify which information you will be importing. So in this case we want everything here. So we're going to leave it just as it is, and we will hit next. Also notice it already has the data type set for you. And if you don't like what they have, it's very easy to change it later. Now Access automatically sets primary keys as ascending numbers 1 through however many it is. In this case, we want the primary key to be our customer number. So we're going to do choose my own primary key, and it is choosing customer number. Always be aware that in all of your exercises in this book, we never have the computer or Access do the primary keys for you. Now, if you want to do that in your own situation, in your however you use Access, that is absolutely okay. That's just the way that they have everything done here. So we have our customer number as our primary key, and then we will choose next. On page 7, it says to name it customer, and all we need to do is customer, not customer data, to import the table. Then it wants us to save the import steps. So it says we're going to hit finish, and then we hit save import steps. And the steps, so this is great. You can schedule it in an Outlook calendar so it automatically comes up for you. Say if you're supposed to do this once a week or once a month, it automatically comes up in Outlook for you to do it. It's very quick and easy, and it just does it for you. So if it's something that you do all the time, that's why you don't have to think about it and how to do it and all that kind of stuff. So it's a very cool thing. For description, it wants us to type. And I'm on page 36, number 8, third bullet point. Import data from customer data workbook into customer table. Alright, so let's say that you have somebody keeping all the new customers on Excel, and once a month you need to get all the new customers into your Access. This is how you would do that. Pretty easy. So we hit save import, and notice we now have a customer table, and you did none of that typing. Isn't that awesome? Saves you a lot of time. Alright, so on page 38 it says right click the customer table, and it wants you to open it. So you can double click or right click. I've already done that. And then it says it wants us to go to the design view. So you can go home and you can click on, the cool thing about this, the book doesn't tell you this either. It always tells you to click on this and then slide down. But the truth is you can swap back and forth just by clicking on that button. Pretty cool. Now later on you'll get to more advanced stuff and you'll have more choices here. But for the most part, it's easy to split back and forth between design view and data sheet view. Alright, so number 2 says it wants you to add a description to the customer number. So we are already in customer number. See our key that tells us that that is our primary key, and if you don't see that key, notice that it has the key shown there. It's squared off. Alright, so for our description it says to type customer number, and I'm on number 2, page 38. 3 uppercase letters followed by 2-digit number. And we will be format this so that that is the only thing that will be accepted. So if somebody comes in and tries to put in the wrong kind of number, then it won't allow it to happen. Alright, now with that still selected, it wants you to change the field size to a size 5. Alright, and in the caption box, now what it wants you to do, it doesn't want the whole customer number showing here. It wants you to have the caption. Remember how we typed BR $? So in this case we're going to do CU $, in the caption, but we're doing it from the design view instead of data sheet view. So here's your caption, and then we'll come here and we'll type CU space and $. And remember, eventually we'll be combining tables, and so you have to make sure that anytime you use a field in another table, that it has to be set up exactly the same way as it is in the main table, or it won't work. They won't be able to mix together. So make sure you remember. So for a point, I typed a space after the U, in between the U and the pound sign here, and on BR for the book rep number. So if you choose to do that, that means that every time you use that caption, you must put a space in between the last letter and the pound sign so that everything can talk to each other, because the computer won't understand. Alright, so then let's see, it says for most fields you only need to change the field size. So as we look through these, we have the customer name, and each of these, the main thing that matters is anything that combines with our book rep table. So notice that amount paid, current due, returns, our book rep number. This would need to have the same field size and formats as in the book rep table. Now, if you'll look on page we're going to figure 1-5, page AC 37. It has the changes that we're going to have to make to this table so that this table can talk with the book rep table. Alright, so first of all, customer number needs to be short text. That is good. It is a primary key, yes. We've already typed in the description and we've already done the caption. Okay, so life is good there. Now for customer name, we have to change that. It's short text, yay, but now it's field sizes is what we need to change. So that's going to change to a size 30. Alright, the street, so I click up here on street, then I come down to the field size, and that's going to be a size 20. Okay, city, so I come up here to city, and the field size for city is going to be 20. State, and the field size is going to be 2. Postal code, field size is 5. Amount paid should be currency. Current due is currency. Returns is currency. Short text for book rep number. Field size should be 2. And it's going to have a description. And this is, I'm getting this from the table on page 37. And it also has a caption. Now remember, we put a space on our caption in the book rep table. So here's our caption for book rep, and we're going to type BR space pound sign. So if you did not put a space, then don't put one there. So either you do spaces or you don't do spaces, and it doesn't matter as long as you do the same thing every time in this database. All right, so we're glad we've got all the updates in. So we're going to, now you can hit save, or you can just switch views. In this case, the book tells us to save, and it's going to yell at us, but that's okay. It says that we've changed some stuff, and that's okay. We're glad. So it says, do you want to continue anyway? And we're going to say yes. All right. So now all you have to do is click on the data sheet view and flip back. And notice that everything has been resized. All of your, everything that you've done shows here. Notice that the CU pound sign is there and the BR pound sign is there. Okay, so all of that is there. So the next thing they ask us to do is close the table. So we're going to click on that little X. And then on page 39 says open the customer table in datasheet view. So we're going to reopen that table. Alright. And then it says to resize the column. So remember I showed you several different ways. You can click and drag. You can double click. Or you can select that box. This is the way I do it. And double click, and it resizes everything immediately. Remember, if I can't see every single letter, so in this case if this was short, M would be cut off, right? And in fact, for that matter, somebody might not realize it's cut off, and then they'll think that you had assist instead of assist thumb, right? So make sure that we can see every single character. And we are going to save that and close the table. Okay, and we're on page 40 and it says take a break. So we're going to stop the movies for a second and I'll be right back. Now that you've entered those records, turn to page AC28. And the next thing it tells you how to do is to resize the columns. Now, I will check your columns. I have to see every single letter of everything in every table, every report, every form. If text is cut off because the box isn't wide enough, the column isn't wide enough, it just points off because it's very unprofessional. And if somebody is looking for information and you're missing half the word, it's kind of hard to figure out what to do with it. So the book does tell you to come in between column 1 and column 2, or the BR number and last name, and it tells you to click and drag in until it's the right size. Now, there of course are easier ways, and I'm going to show you those. You can come in between a column and get the vertical bar with the 2 arrows and double click, and that will auto size. Now, even cooler, this is what I do. Just like in Excel, you can click on this gray box that is to the left of the first row or the title row and above the first column of figures. So this gray box right here selects everything, and then when you come in between the first and second column, you get the bar with the 2 arrows, double click, it resizes, auto sizes everything very quickly, and I'm all about the fastest way to do it. So there you go, really fast. And we're going to save it and close that table. Now, on page 30, it tells you to preview and print. So we're going to open the navigation pane